welcome in. These are your selections. Not citrine, a don't know crystal, maybe orange calcite, a pencil sharpener, a rubber with broken side, and an earphone case. I will now proceed to do some sound healing because I feel like it and because my throat is so like I've never noticed that this says Key Road on it. Key Road. Corrode. That's so cool for a pencil sharpener because it's like corroding the pencil. Okay, I'm being told that's it. Okay, so those are the item selection, and I will also get some cards for each. So, pile 1. Pile 1's felt like a choice. It needed to be a choice. And as soon as I thought that, then the card came out. So we have throat chakra for pile 1. I wonder if that's why my throat was all crackly. Pile number 2. Pile 2 are elsewhere. They all flipped out when I said that. It's like the card itself wasn't ready to come out, but there wanted to be a confirmation of that energy. I heard verbal confirmation, but I wasn't thinking that. Yeah, it's like you get something that you're not trying to get from pile 2. A verbal confirmation of something. Of something that maybe had been bubbling under the surface or causing some intense emotions, but not necessarily intense like happy. Intense like chaos. Pile 3. Pile 3 has 2 cards. Healing. The word senses wants to come up. And coherence. I wanted to say the number 2 because I thought that 1 and 3, I thought there was 2 there, but 1 gap 2, then 3. And 29 goes down to 2. So the number 2 could be significant for pile 3. Actually, we'll show both. I heard that like showboat. That's making me think of a very fun game. I can't remember what it's called. It's an American football game. And you can showboat. Okay, powerful. Powerful gets 2 also. Solar plexus. Interesting that that wants to be power 4, not the orange crystal. And cosmic flower with 9 and 3. Home, world, and whole. Also kind of knowing. Let's move these up, shall we? I'm really zoomed in on the camera today. I felt like it. So I can actually watch the camera, because usually it's too far up that I have to like jump up to be able to see it. So something about mindfulness is what I heard. Watching, being able to see something. These aren't all fitting. My brain is not with it. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Cosmic flower. So cosmic solar plexus. That's cool. I feel so out of it. I can't express this enough. I really don't know what to do. I'm like stuck. There we go. Expand the place up a bit, shall we? Up. Expand the place up a bit. Oof, I'm suddenly so out of it. Whoa! Red kite so close outside my window. Wow. And that came as I was thinking but almost didn't say. Or wasn't going to say. What was it? Oh, I think you're avoiding something. You really don't want to look at something, that's how it feels. Like you'd rather zone out. I would not be surprised if many of you were also doing something else while listening to this, or you have plans to stop listening. I don't know. There's an aura of I'm not even here. Okay, let's process these emotions. Did I say that's what this... I was gonna call it film then. Third eye chakra and crown. I don't know what... Okay. This is a reading on what are you feeling, and let's process it. Yes, what are you feeling? Okay, power selection. Power selection is most certainly feeling like there's something that you want to, or like kind of need to, is how you feel about it. You feel like there's something you'll need to do when you ground back into your body. So I feel like you are repressing your urge to see the truth, because it's not necessarily to see the truth, it's more like to be in the present, like really just simply be right here, because it feels like everything goes wrong, but it only feels like everything goes wrong in the present when you really feel everything, because you fear what you'll have to do because of the circumstances you'll become more aware of. I think you already see your situation, and there's a sense of lacking understanding of how this is all for your benefit. How you can shift into the perspective of allowance and allowing this to lead you where you actually want to be, externally and internally. Okay, that's the collective message. So let's get on to, and Delight wants to pop out. Let's get on to the piles. Welcome in, pile 1. So you have the throat chakra and the large yellow crystal. The first thing I want to do with your energy is take a deep breath in and also let that deep breath out. But I'm being brought to how it's not the same breath out that is the breath in. There's a sense of allowing yourself to speak the truth that you know to be true and not the one that you have already spoken, or not the one that you have already come to terms with. There's something that you're able to see now that you weren't before, and some of you may feel like you're going back on what you have said before. However, you're invited to see this more as an in-breath and an out-breath. One is an understanding, one is still learning, and that's okay, and the other is an expression of what comes next. So what comes next? Okay, let's get some extra cards for you. Interesting that I'm calling them extra, because I feel like you've already said your piece, or something has closed, or something has been set in stone. There's some sort of completion that you feel you've found with something, not necessarily a comforting one, but you're being guided to continue with this in a way of, like, continue on top of it, say something extra. I feel like that is what you may feel like you don't have the ability to, or you may question whether you're allowed to. So this is bringing awareness to how your resistance to expressing all that you want to express may be from a fear that what you now think is not okay. Likely based off what you have said before, or what you have thought before. And perhaps also in an attempt to keep the peace. But what is peace externally if you're not feeling that in the present? In other words, I feel like you're fearing conflict, or not necessarily conflict, it's even conflict within other people's minds. Like, you fear what this expression will lead to, like the impressions you'll leave on others because of saying this, because of who you now are, or what you're now aware of, or what you now think. However, the guidance is to allow yourself to be led in the direction which feels like it brings you peace. Because I feel like not expressing all that you currently are is causing some mental fog. It's almost like an energy of you feel like you can't take steps forwards until, or you can't feel fresh. You can't feel at peace until you've said your piece. Spelt differently. Yeah, I already feel this clearing. There's a lot of clear energy here, especially compared to the collective at the beginning. This is a very clean energy. I feel like you know what you gotta do, kind of thing. So we have jellyfish. There's still somewhat of an avoidance around speaking this, but I think there's a lot of new insight that you have come to, maybe from being in silence for a while, or from understanding more of your environment. There's like an integration that's happened, especially since this is going to the left of the throat chakra, which is making me think of this current expression that you're wanting to get off your chest. And it's not even like a heavy burden thing. It doesn't feel too massive. It's just like a new you. And I feel like maybe you're coming to terms more with the fact that you are at peace. Because perhaps in the past you presented yourself as someone who had a lot going on and it was a jumble. Whether that was true or not, that's what you feel you are being perceived as. And I feel like you're afraid of coming forth as cleansed, as okay, because there's somewhat of an attachment to feeling like you need to be who you were 5 minutes ago, or 5 days ago, or 5 years ago, or 5 lifetimes ago. Okay, so what's on the other side of the throat chakra? Raven. I heard going into the dark and healing. Raven, I kind of laughed because Raven can be associated with writing and words, but having it be in writing is making me think of, like, it's been said. And I'm being drawn to how the shape of the raven feels like it. Whoa, the sun is coming out so strongly now. And it made me look up and see a raven. Cool. Something about like intense synchronicity. And the word intense definitely wants to be highlighted here because this raven energy feels like that. Feels like you're coming from a state of like cleansed peace. I heard liberty. Into having. I'm kind of seeing ravens like collecting shiny things, and it's like they have it. You'll have something extra through this. Something I heard you've wanted for a long time but haven't known how to attain. Yeah, it's a very simple energy. I don't feel like I need to over-explain. It feels simple, like it was struggle and now it is not. Or after the expression, it will not be. But it already feels like you're in this peace now. Yeah, the past is what muddles my brain. The present feels at peace. And the future feels like it feels more invigorated. It's like there's a knowing, there's a spark on the mind. The future feels liberated and I heard a word that sounds like ingenious, but it's not quite that. There was like a different end to the word. I can't get over seeing this bird carrying a crystal. And the crystal feels so full and like it lights up the entirety of the bird, which is you. There's a sense of strong self-worth that comes after this. Like you feel like yourself. You feel like you're able to really be yourself. It's like this crystal shines such strength on all that you have known yourself to be for a long time, and yet maybe struggled to really identify before. It feels like, oh, I'm just looking outside again and there's another red kite. It's so powerful. There's so much power here. And yet there's a gentleness. It doesn't quite fit the energy. But I also feel like this is somewhat of a guiding light to others. Those words just kept coming to my mind, so I felt like I had to express it. Guiding light. Okay, pile 1, that was a short reading. I think this is going to be a short video, but it feels like you don't have too much emotional stuff to work through. It feels like that was the past of a lot of jumbled everything, and that the present, you've already processed that, and that you're ready to speak on something. Ready to have something in quote-unquote writing, whether that be quote-unquote or not. and watching how life unfolds from there. That unfolds made me think of like wings. Flying, flight. I just saw the raven like tap its beak down twice. There's so much power in the future, but I don't feel like getting into it now. Or like I really want to, but I'm not going to in this reading. Okay, pile number 1. Very intense, very cool energy. Bye bye. Where is my deck? Ah, it's up there. Welcome in, pile 2. Your first message is, even though the circumstances feel like they should be easier, somehow you still feel incomplete or like something is more difficult. So there feels like an energy of, I think it's similar to pouting, but it's in a more baby energy than like a teenage kind of pouting. I feel like you may have missed out on something. There was a message in the beginning of having something be expressed to you. And I feel like maybe this will cause... No, it has caused. Okay. I feel like the energy that you were tapped into before this expression will come to you, before someone tells you something, it was holding a lot of anger or holding like a lot. There's a range of different emotions here, but I feel like the primary one is that there was so much you couldn't put your finger on that you were feeling, and you didn't quite understand why, but I think it was because of how mistreated you were. I think that you weren't held with love, and that created a sort of tornado within your energetic field, within your emotional body, that was telling you that you weren't happy with the way you were treated. And that felt like it didn't really allow you to trust your knowing. And it felt like, because of all of this distortion of maybe feeling like you had to feel better than you were, or maybe even you were being harsh with yourself for feeling harsher emotions, but there's going to be a big relief for you when you get external validation for the way that you are feeling. And I think you'll finally feel like you were harsh on yourself, or that it was okay to feel the extremity of what you were feeling. You may have felt like it was okay to feel the way you felt, but not to the extent that you did. Maybe not as much or not as long. But there's a call to allow yourself to feel angered or feel unjustified. Not unjustified, like someone has been unjust towards you. And I don't think someone, that word fits for everyone, but in some capacity I feel like there's an energy of not being respected. And I think that baby energy of like pouting from the beginning it's more an energy that you're coming into of feeling like it is okay to baby yourself, like it's okay for you to feel the way you're feeling. Okay, so Key Road is what's written on this sharpener, which made me think of eroding within the collective, and this is a sharpener which makes me think of letting go of something. It's like letting go of something is really increasing your own sharpness, and I think this is sharpness of discernment, and also simple like pleasure of being. It's giving me like the pencil is as it should, it can work as it should. There could have been a lot to do with this situation which felt like it held you back or did hold you back, because so much of your energy was on this, it feels like. And with this letting go of it, letting go of the resentment or letting go of some sort of attachment, we'll get more into the feelings themselves, but for now it feels more about the situation that made you feel this way. Or talking more abstractly, I guess, to start with, it feels like the releasal of all of this is what allows you to then focus and create that which you want to be creating, to get back on track, to feel like you have more of a grasp on your life and that you have more control over the way you want to live your life. It's giving me a lot of energy of you've been very tired because of this situation, and so the releasal of this, which is really just the realization that all of your emotions were valid, and that it's kind of giving me the energy of you were right to be angry at the universe. Like, the universe wanted you to be angry, to get angry, to not hold in so much like rightness. It's like there was waiting for you to break, like waiting for you to realize that you should be feeling, like quote unquote should, but that you should be feeling angry about the situations you've been in or about this situation, because that's what really shows yourself, and thus the universe the same. It really shows yourself that you do deserve respect. It's a simple message, and yet I feel like there's still somewhat of a cloud around it. Like the last few sentences, the last sentence didn't feel like it really fit for me. Yeah, I feel like it's time to shout and it's time to cry. I'll read this passion card first, actually. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. Yeah, because in order to understand this state of serenity that you're getting to, or in order to understand your own value, there's a need to process what is non-value, because trying to hold everything in, it's like holding everything together, I want to say you've been doing. Trying to hold everything together is not allowing other visions of the universe, other expressions of life to hold that for you or to take that off your hands. I think because you've been carrying so much, it hasn't allowed others to carry that which you don't need to be carrying. There's a questioning going on of, what do you want to be carrying? What brings you pleasure to carry? Like, is holding a crystal something you value, something you want to be carrying, or is it too heavy? Is it more of a burden? And this is about allowing that burden to appear as a burden, and any emotions that feel like you should be being treated better are there to be expressed so that you can let go of those situations, those burdens. The universe has infinite ways of providing for you and holding that which you don't want to hold. But if you yourself are holding it, it doesn't allow other life forms to take it from you. The words "you are so protected and so held, only fall into our arms" is coming to my mind. Yeah, I'm being brought back to this sharpener analogy of release to sharpen. Release to sharpen. Because you may have been feeling like you really want to be a sharp pencil, and yet you haven't recognized that the way in order to do that is releasing that which is not the sharp pencil. I saw that before. When I said that, it didn't quite click for me, but maybe it clicked for you. Yeah, that sharp pencil, I think this could have a lot to do with your intuition and your knowing of where to go in life. Your understanding of all the undercurrents and the pathways of past, present, future. Possibly particularly, no, it's not just the future. There could be a tendency for you to focus this on, like, I can't see the future because of the situation, and that is what the sharp pencil analogy part is, that keen senses, being on point, being able to see. But it's equally as seeing the past as it is the future. And the way I'm meaning this is more so an understanding of how it is that you really see the future in the first place. That returning to your senses, like your 5 senses, your 6, 7, 100 senses, means returning to this intense emotion. I heard of betrayal. So what is this emotion? Because I think the struggle or the annoyance for you is that you can't see clearly and that you're not that sharp point. It feels like you can't do the things you want to do because you can't see the things because you can't see how life plays out, because you can't see, because your intuition is clouded. You feel like all of your focus is trying to get onto getting your intuition back, kind of thing. Bringing your sight back. And the reason is because there's so much energy of distortion that you've been allowing. Okay, so what is this red feeling? What are the emotions to process? The world. I'm being really drawn to all the birds around her hair. Slash her head. Okay, that's interesting. Her head is this gap in the sky, gap in the leaves that is connected to space. And I'm seeing this as a planet. Kind of with a rose in it. A planet with a rose, but also it's like it's trying to be the moon, but it's not. It's like actively trying to be the moon, but it's not. I think you're being called to... I can't quite see it or say it. So let's keep going. Okay, this one. Page of Cups. You're being called back into... I heard feelings of nostalgia. Feelings of dreaminess. What do you want? Because I feel like that could even make some of you cry, because I feel like you've been so struggling to move through life, or to move on, to move forwards, to move towards particular goals or dreams that you have actually forgotten what the dream is. Maybe you felt so burdened that you couldn't dream. And so pushing through that burden isn't the way to the dream. It's ungripping and falling back into the dream. Some of you, it's time to remember why all of this happened in the first place. What were you dreaming up? What was the love in your heart? Because you could be someone who is very connected to seeing through your emotions. I don't even see that as true though, because the world doesn't feel like that to me, nor does the High Priestess. But I do think that there's a strong understanding that which you desire to create can't be seen, can't be walked towards, in this circumstance at least, without feeling and falling back into that which you're trying to create itself. I feel like you may be trying to walk forwards with your eyes closed, but you're being invited to open your eyes to discovering, rediscovering that which you're trying to get to. But this is what... So that was the advice that came from those cards, but those cards came when I actually asked... What's at the back? Page of Pentacles. Like, when what you first were trying to achieve... They don't want to speak on that. I'm being so drawn to all of this, like, help moving up. And I heard help. It's interesting. My mind keeps trying to jump to conclusions, and then I keep being told, no, it's not that, or no, don't say that. And with that, I'm being drawn back to the birds. And those are reminding me of, what's her name? Snow White, who, with the birds who help her. And that energy of help. I feel like you haven't asked the universe or your guides or those that you love, you haven't asked for help for a long time, it feels. And I'm getting so much confirmation on this. Yes, this is it. This is what we want to share. Ask us for help. Ask. Just ask. Because you don't have to carry this burden alone. You don't need to be alone. You don't ever need to feel alone. There's so much support right here. I can feel like so many of your guides ushering you to lean on them. Because notice how I'm not even being drawn into the red. It's like the red exists, but the energy that just keeps wanting to come through for you is that of surrendering to the help, to the... I heard the promise of a new day. Lean on us, lean on us. You don't need to carry this burden alone. You don't need to carry this burden. We don't want you burdened. And you don't want you burdened either. It's like I created steps with the cards. I feel like that's what they'll do. Yeah, it's like in order to create this full staircase, the red, the chaos, the non-lasting something is what I heard. Something that didn't last or isn't lasting. That needs to be pushed away. It's like we don't even need to look at that part, but we can use it as a stepping stone. Okay. I want to get let's put this passion card away and let's get you a renewed card. Discernment. Yeah, this is very cool. Because that's what we were talking about, that sharpness, the ability to see the truth. And I think a part of you may have wanted to see the truth so badly, but you were blocking yourself because maybe the truth isn't what you wanted to see. There's such an energy of like there was holding on, and that holding on wasn't enabling you to have the clear sight. Once you let go, that is when you will be able to truly see. To truly let go. To truly see. And I think you already fully know what you need to let go of. I don't feel like I need to like get cards of confirmation for that even. You know. And I feel like you're so ready. I feel like you've been ready for a long time. I heard justice. It's an energy of perhaps you've been waiting for justice for a long time, and now you're realizing that you get to be the one to administer that to yourself. You get to be the one to to choose that for yourself. To say no in order to see what the yes is. Because I think that's what this is all about. You want to see what the yes is, and you know what the no is. You do know what the no is. I felt some resistance towards that. I can't remember what my sentence was then. It wasn't resistance I felt. I don't want to say that. There was just something that I felt from you, or from a lot of you. Yeah, it's like you knew what you wanted, the yes, and you weren't able to see the yes because the yes is the sharpened pencil, but you knew how to sharpen the pencil. You knew what you needed to let go of. You knew your no, but you didn't know your yes. And when you drop your no, when you say no, internally or externally or both, that is the act of sharpening the pencil and seeing your yes. And in essence, choosing your yes. I think that's just a bit scary. But so invigorating. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. You know what? This discernment card is... Where's that red guy gone? I already went past it. I will find him. It's the center. Doesn't it look kind of similar to the center? Yeah, okay. You know what to do. It's release. I bet you've had a billion gut hunches, gut knowings, gut pokes that you're confident what this is. It's time. It's time. But it's always been time. It's time when you want it to be time. It's time when you choose it to be. And the sun just came out. Woo! And with that, pile number 2, I shall end your reading. Namaste. I love you. See you in another reading or see you in another experience of life. Bye bye. Where's my deck gone? There he is. Welcome in, pile 3. So I had brought my you and them little papers a while ago, and I thought maybe I'd be using them, and I just noticed to the left of me now they had like fallen out of their box, So I guess that's what this is for you. And it could have to do with someone or I'm presuming a someone, but you can swap it to something if you don't resonate with that. Someone you've let go of, because this rubber has had a piece chopped off it, and we have 2 cards and we have a them and you. So that's what we're going for. Them and you. Them and you. Let's do it like this, shall we? What did they go underneath? Excuse my voice being extra loud. I'll whisper. No, let's put it up there. No, that's not. There's a lot of playful energy here. I feel like they are really taking their time to do something. Like they wanted to get something very precise. I want to just get confirmation on who the them is for you. So, okay, we'll use this deck. I was gonna use tarot, but my hands, my divine hands of movement chose for me. This is a character deck. So, they don't really want to shuffle. Do you not want to know who this is? I'm trying to ask, particularly if this is the person you have let go of, the being you've let go of, or if this is a new someone from the past or someone from the future or someone from the present. Okay, let's see. Who is them? It came out so easily that I'm suspicious. So someone you're suspicious of. And it's like clearly suspicious of. Gui is a kind of deceitful character. He feels like a trader. Yes, he is a trader. He's like a black market trader. I'm even gonna get one for... I'm hearing no, don't get one for you. Okay. Okay. So, someone deceitful who is healing. Finding their way. So why is this a reading for you? Let's get an animal card of this kind, shall we? Oh, they're telling me... Why are you telling me these things after I get... They're telling me use this for a card for them and a card for you. And they just told me that they wanted me to get that out, otherwise I wasn't going to use it. After this. Coyote, oh my goodness. So, yes, they are not trustworthy for sure. This is someone who you have like looked in the eye and who has deceived you. This is someone who doesn't necessarily even try to hide the fact that they are either lying or being like light-hearted in situations which are clearly not light-hearted. That's coming to mind. And this is of course perspective, so clearly is probably your perspective, that they took something to be far lighter than it was. And also I wanted to note, when I said healing their card, it didn't really feel like they were in it. Let me rephrase this too. This is healing, like the process, it's not healed. Okay, and for you, what energy are you in surrounding this? 2. It feels like a shedding energy. Okay, that's so funny. And we have Slug on the back. I'm gonna move him to the like half side. He can half be in view. You are in the process of shedding this someone who is not of your own personal alignment is what I feel, because I kind of see this magpie as them, because I felt like you got two cards because like one was you and one was like you're still holding on to them. This is them. Magpie, not necessarily trustworthy, kind of malevolent, not always the purest of intentions, depending on how you define the word pure, but that's what I'm going to say for the sake of this reading. It feels like there's a lot in this reading that I wouldn't often say, but that's going to come through. So that could be something you're experiencing too, something that you would ordinarily be more conscious with or more intentional with your words, more aligned with your own belief systems, but or belief of like a higher truth, but now you're coming more into expression of how you're really feeling, as opposed to that feeling or that expression needing to be in alignment with what you see to be as more loving or what you see to be as more right. There's a sense of allowing what is to be. But also I'm feeling maybe like allowing that to ripple out. I feel like this isn't for everyone, but for some of you, saying that which you are seeing, saying that which you are feeling, as opposed to saying that which you think is better to say. Better probably in a spiritual better, or a moral better, or a societal, like social ways of going about things better. There's an energy of you wouldn't usually. And that could have to do with them also. Maybe they are someone that you wouldn't usually accept this energy into your field surrounding. However, somehow they have made themselves into your radar. So yeah, it feels like where you're at is letting go of them, because the snake is immediately just making me think of shedding. But there could be an energy of still allowing their way of moving through life, or the approach that they had to you, to get under your skin. I'm being drawn to this looking very much like a spiral, and I kind of saw it like dropping the egg on the outside and watching it spiral all the way to the middle, and that's kind of making me think of like the egg, like maybe things they've said or things they've done, something to do with them, and it's like they may just hit a tiny part of you on the outside, but that still goes all the way and spirals right into the center. Some of you may be questioning not letting go of this being fully, because you feel like if they're just in the outside of your energetic field, that they won't have that much influence over you. But with that visual I had of like, it just needs a tiny drop to get into your field and it will spiral all the way back into the center. It's acknowledging the extent of their effect on you, and maybe understanding why you don't want to let go of them. So let's get let's get an animal card on that. And I laugh because I wouldn't have used this deck for this question had I not got it out earlier. Okay, what was the question? Why don't you want to let go of them? Woo! Because it caused a mess. And Guardian Black Bear is wanting to come out. I don't feel like I need to say anything for that. Freedom. I was hearing, let's just reshuffle these. I feel like you're, like there's that energy of avoidance, like let's just reshuffle it. Like you've been shown that you've been shown your freedom, or you've been shown the answer. This isn't even completely to what I asked this about, but first of all I'll say you've been shown the card that answers your question. Like, for example, yes, let go of them. But then you're saying, let's reshuffle, I probably got it wrong, or just to be sure, or there's a sense of never feeling like an answer is enough, or never trusting yourself enough. And before we get onto this horse card, I want to read your current energy card, which was coherence, 13, or 4. 4 is making me think of that clutched on energy. It's a very stable, like unmoving energy. I feel like you've got comfortable with their energy to the extent that you forget how light it can feel without them. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality we desire. None of that went into my mind, but now it has. So it kind of makes me think that that is what's going on with this energy. It's like causing an inability for you to really feel who you are in the present. It's like everything takes a whole, like a double as long for it to process within you. And I feel like that is part of what keeps you clung to the energy. It's a sense of comfort that comes from everything being slow, and I think that is what this slug energy is. And that's so to do with the freedom. I think that this so frees you, and that is why you don't want to do it. You don't want to let go because you're afraid of what comes next. You're afraid of that freedom. And it has to do with goals and dreams too. It's like maybe life is more in your hands then. There's more, I feel like you have an expectation to do more then. But I feel like that's something you'd love, because I'm feeling invigorated by this, by having your own personal goals or going towards your goals. Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to put slug only half in view feels like that is the present back of the deck. It's the present underlying energy, but it's not one that's being encouraged, because I feel like that is like why staying with their energy feels good, because it keeps you stuck in the mud. I want to get a bit more energy of like, why is this freedom, what's so bad about it? Why no freedom? Delight. Don't you want to be happy? The frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we invoke in others. Okay, so I think it's the others part of you're afraid of feeling delight. You're afraid of being happy because of how that will trigger others. Probably to do with how that will trigger them. They may... I'm being told not to say that. Okay. Yeah, it feels like you want to keep the peace. That's the real reason why you're keeping them at the edge line. It's like you recognize that they're not good for you, for what you want out of your own energetic field, out of your life, and so you know to keep them on the outside, but the reason why you're not fully letting go is because then you would be happy, because then you'd be free, because then you'd be so untethered and you'd feel like everything, what does it say? It's so pure and delightful and joyful and like, okay, that's what it is, because I was judging myself a lot through that, and it was primarily judging myself based off saying things that have already been said. Not necessarily even this reading, but the word pure. I used the word pure a lot, and I was judging myself for that. And I feel like that is this. It's the energy of you've done this before. You've been happy before and it didn't go down well. Like, you've done the things that made you happy and that did not make them happy or others happy, but I feel like it's easier to see it with them. You're allowed to be happy. I think that's all that needs to be said for your reading. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to be free. You're allowed to free yourself. Okay, pile number 3. That is your reading. You're allowed to be happy. I love that message. Namaste, I love you, and I'll see you in another video, or I'll see you in another energetic space of life. Goodbye. And a goodbye indeed at that. A good one at that. A delightful one at that. Bang bang bing bong 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 bong. Dooby dooby doo, gadak gadak dee. Ah! Scream. The beginning. Welcome in pile number 4. You have the earphones, which is making me think of pleasure. Like, it's good to the ears. You're giving yourself like sweetness, or you're allowing yourself to feel really nourished and taken care of is the energy. I'm hearing given a gift. Some of you want to be given a gift, and you're maybe in the past you wouldn't have allowed that. Maybe this certain gift, or maybe gifts in general. And now you're in the energy of allowing that. Yeah. The solar plexus chakra, oh yeah, I feel like this is 2 because it's talking about another and you. And I feel like the them is someone who really sees you to your core. Cosmic flower with the number 9, which feels like an energy of mastery, an energy of like, it's all been done. I've walked it all. Knowing how to maneuver through life. Did I need to finish more of that sentence? I felt like I left it hanging. So there could be something about leaving it hanging. The frequency of cosmic flower activates the remembrance of the place. I read that wrong. The frequency of cosmic flower. They're telling me hold it up. Okay. Okay. The frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So that's them. And solar plexus. The solar part really wants to be magnified on this. The frequency of solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the world. To the whole. Okay, to the world could be significant. But that's just making me think of the world card in tarot and feeling that like the number 9 again, like completion. The world. Like the world. Like what is the world? What is that? Let's get some animal cards. So let's get an animal card for them. And then for you. Coyote. I heard they're not afraid to have fun. And magpie. There could be messages for some of you in pile 3, or maybe you've just come from pile 3 because these two both came out in the same position, and yet with the magpie there was also another. The back of the deck is spider. I'm gonna put that under your earphones. Your earphones. And let's get some body cards. I'm gonna use this. No, I'm not. I was gonna say simply to identify who them is for you. In a very normal way of this could be a body part that is expanded, or like that you take note of, that you associate with them. But then I felt like that's not it. But I still said all of that. There's like an overcomplication here. Okay, so how are you feeling? Yeah, they wanted to come up when I asked the question. How are you feeling? And let's process those emotions. We have temples. And that and felt significant. And then, oh, I got both of them. I feel like it's doing that. You are and they are temples. Yeah, feels like you are in your masculine and they are in their feminine. It feels like okay, let me tap into this emotion because I'm not really feeling emotion. That could be what you're experiencing too. I'm feeling anger, but it's more in the mind. It's not really like I'm feeling it. I feel like they are in their emotions. But I'm not even feeling that, I'm just saying that. I'm gonna get some tarot. I feel like you're confused and a little pissed. Like, why? Why them? This could be that there's a sort of misdeed that they have done, and you feel like you would have been able to deal with it if it was anyone but them. Because them being the cosmic flower makes me think you really feel at home with them, and so it hurt extra that they would hurt you. That they wouldn't take you seriously, maybe. I'm almost seeing like the coyote eating the magpie. It's giving me the energy of like they saw all of the body and yet they didn't see any of these codes on the outside. It's like they went straight for the grab. They went straight for the physical, maybe, because they are coming through as King of Pentacles. Or maybe that's just, whoa, the energy that we're in. The world. I thought maybe this reading, and this is relevant to your message, I thought this reading was going to be someone already in a very happy, healthy relationship. I thought it was going to be describing that and the emotions coming up from that. However, it's actually talking about a frustration and a being rejected is what I heard. Because I think it's not necessarily all of you that's been rejected, but it's a lot of what you value of yourself, or what you value in general in life. A lot of that was rejected. I'm feeling like they put you on a tiny pedestal. And interesting that I'm still saying pedestal. It's like they still put you on a pedestal, but it was tiny. And it's making me think that they sneakily made you out to be small. Like they undervalued you in a way where they could still present themselves as putting you on a pedestal. They still presented themselves like they were offering you love. However, the way that you received it was certainly not, I don't want to say that because I feel like the way you received it may have not been in alignment with how you actually felt about the truth of what they were doing. Because you may have taken it like the way they were serving it, like on a fine platter, but it's like, what were they actually serving you? There's something about presentation with them. King of Pentacles and the World. I'm being so drawn to all the green in the World card. And I heard the word frock. I don't know if that's an English or Welsh word, but it's the like dress, not dress, skirt or frock. I don't know if that's like a thing. Okay. I feel like they might have been particularly invested, let's say, in your body, because I used the body cards also for you, and you're the only one that I've done that for. I'm also for the first time seeing Spider, or not for the first time ever, but like for the first time in a long time seeing Spider as somewhat malevolent. Like, what's the energy of that? It's like they are probably very connected to a sort of spirituality, a sort of wisdom, but they're using it in a deceitful way. They're using that to benefit. I don't want to say themselves, because if they're benefiting themselves, quote unquote, and it's not benefiting you truly, then it's not benefiting themselves. It's not of love. It's a sort of connection to, I heard higher learning. A connection to higher learning that enables them to continue with thought patterns and ways of being, beliefs about who they are and what is acceptable, that allows them to continue doing that. I don't know if I phrased that well, but essentially they're using somewhat of a moral compass in order to stay fixated in their distortion. It's like they feel like they are justified in their actions because of like that silver platter they delivered it on. And that's not even the energy I was trying to describe. I feel like your energy, the emotions you're processing aren't really emotions. They are, but they're really tied to the mind. The number 3 is making me think of the mind too. I don't think it usually is, but it's making me think of that in this moment. So the back of the deck is 2 of Swords, which is being torn, and 2 of Cups in reverse behind that. And I almost feel like it's like confusing 2 of Swords with 2 of Cups. And the Hierophant, yeah, that's what they feel like. They feel like that higher learning, like they could be in a position of being a guide for many. I feel like the word obnoxious came to my mind, but I was also thinking other things that I don't really want to express surrounding this energy. But there's an essence for you that you are overextending yourself and seeing them in a way that isn't actually feeling them, because I think you may feel so torn between the head and the heart because your heart feels the truth, the core of them, and your head sees the surface level of them, but then you also see their potential and you see who you know that they could be. I feel like you are far more in your power in this situation than you have been in the past. And yet there's still this energy of judgment popped out, of a radical change, of epiphany that's coming, because I feel like you still haven't fully decided what your position surrounding them is. And I think that could be because of this high level of authority they display themselves to be. I feel like you have a lot of respect for them, and yet I think these like mental emotions which is such 2 of Swords that are propping up for you now are to do with that which you don't respect within them. The parts of them that you don't respect. But I think it's like you don't want to allow yourself to feel that because of all the other parts of them that you do respect. It's not asking you to let go of the ways in which you do hold them in high regard, but it's just allowing that to be hand in hand with all of them. And I think it's causing a final chapter of yours to close. I keep seeing temples like very knowing and very grounded, very holding, so very holding. And also like they keep their cool. Like I'm imagining rubbing one's temples and it being soothing. I feel like they really soothe you on a soul level. An emotional level too. And I feel like that may be particularly why you're in your head about this, because you know that if you were in your emotions, you'd just relax into them. And you understand that they're not in alignment with the sort of love that you want to be in alignment with. The arm just keeps making me think of like extending yourself, like having that connection. It's like you're still open to connection with them. See how this line comes through the temple and it feels like you're there to meet it. Meet it there. Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm willing to meet you here or here or here. There's an energy of assertion that that comes from where? Let's see. Where does this energy of like extending yourself towards them or keeping the door open kind of thing come from? I like that it's gone to 5 of Cups at the back, because that feels like this situation. I feel like it's helpful to go, oh my god, my throat. One moment, I'm gonna drink. That's what I feel like you're being called into. Return to the nourishment. Like putting you first. Like I'm not putting the reading first, I'm putting me first. And through that, the reading is being put first too. And that is the essence of love. Put yourself in love and you'll put everyone else in love too. Victory. Yeah, I feel like this is that energy of like they were trying to pretend to put you on a pedestal, and if you stay on that wavelength, then you're staying on that pedestal. But I feel like you're afraid of fully being successful. I feel like you're afraid of standing on your true pedestal, because you're afraid that others will take that in certain ways. You're afraid of others feeling like you're looking down on them, when in actuality you would be very inviting of everyone else to get on their own pedestals too. I feel like sometimes maybe you even question your own okayness with other people being on their own pedestals, but it's not in that direction. It's like the way I had expressed that metaphor before felt like it was relieving for you to hear, and so I wanted to amplify that. Not with those words, but there's an essence of you remembering that it's okay for you to be successful, and that does not mean that you don't want others' success. It's okay to celebrate yourself. It's okay for you to feel victorious. It's okay for you to feel like you came out on top. Because on top doesn't need to mean on top of anyone else. It simply can mean on top. On the top of your game. But I think that because of those around you, strong perceptions of you, I think you pick up on that. And you fear that that may be true. You may not always recognize that that's the real fear, that you're afraid that it's true. You may associate it more with them as opposed to with yourself. But I think that when you claim more recognition that you are in a place of love and that you're not looking down on anyone, and that feeling of looking down on others is actually you just perceiving how they're viewing you. They're viewing themselves as being looked down on, but that's an energy you're picking up on. It's not how you place yourself. There's strong empathy in this pile, and yet I feel like you try to cut off from that and go into your mind in order to make sure that you are being of love, but everything keeps not coming out right. Because I think this is an essence of you can try again and again with this, but it will never fit if you're coming at it from a place of like trying to work with puzzle pieces that don't belong with you. At some point it feels like you've just got to throw the towel in. And that doesn't mean that you didn't want to make it work. It just means that it wasn't working. And it's okay for you to then find something that does. My throat, I think, is the worst in this pile. So it feels like this is really difficult for you to hear. But I don't even feel that. Again, there's so much surrounding you actually being okay. Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. This is something that you get to get to what? Get to see. Get to see yourself do is what it feels like. Assertive. In silence you find power. Claim your leadership role. Yeah, there's a leadership with you. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. Yeah, completely. I'm going to read that all again. Cougar. Assertive. In silence you find power. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. Cool. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm back more in my own energy. Okay, and I think that's you too. Ah, that's very cool. You're back in your own energy. I love you, Pile 4. I love you very much. That's so funny. In my mind, like, channeling this energy that I said in my mind, like, you're my favorite Pile. So there's something about that. I feel like maybe you'll be doing that soon. Like, you're my favorite. I love life. I feel like that's you. You'll be like, I love life. I feel like you're really remembering yourself. Really allowing yourself to stand where you want to stand. To be free, to be complete, to complete this long cycle. You're allowing yourself to what is that energy? To be a success. To be as successful as you know yourself to be. Because everyone is in complete success, and it's just how much do we allow ourselves to actually feel that, to be that? And that's what you feel like you're embodying. The success that is you. You're choosing you. Okay, actually, bye-bye. I love you.